Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video there's lots to negotiate about. So I'm just going to be giving you some latest news regarding Pogba. Then I'm going to be talking with you a bit more about Timo Werner. Then I'm going to be talking with you about Kai Havertz from Bayern Leverkusen. Have been talking with you about him on a regular basis and that. And then there's obviously other things to talk about a bit later on in the video and that. So I've got to say that Pogba has stopped Timo Werner's transfer to Manchester United. Now, recent reports have said that Manchester United had a secret meeting in February, and that was between Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Timo Werner. There was talking in Berlin in February and that, because we was looking to get a deal finalised for Timo Werner. But obviously, Timo Werner's move to Manchester United, depended on, what happened with Pogba. But obviously, now we can't get Timo Werner anyway, because obviously, it's looking very, very likely that Pogba is going to be staying at Manchester United. And of course, Timo Werner has agreed to join Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea are going to pay around £50 million for him, because that's his release clause in his RB Leipzig contract. The stories were coming out yesterday saying that Chelsea have offered Timo Werner a 5-year contract worth around £200,000 a week and that. And like I said, Werner hasn't only held talks with Man United, like I said, Chelsea have been in talks with him recently. Obviously, don't forget Timo Werner's held quite a few talks with Liverpool. He's had quite a few meetings with Jurgen Klopp. But obviously, Liverpool are no longer in for him now, because Liverpool did say that they only value Timo Werner at £30 million. Don't forget, recently as well, Timo Werner's agent had notified Man United and Chelsea that Werner had agreed personal terms with Liverpool and his transfer to Liverpool was effectively done. But obviously, now that is not the case. I think Werner's also held some talks with Barcelona and that. So yeah, it's looking likely, he's going to be going to Chelsea. He's going to be Frank Lampard's second signing as Chelsea manager. Because obviously, Chelsea did get Hakim Ziyech in, was it January or February, from Ajax. I think Chelsea did pay around £37 million for him. But Timo Werner is a very, very good signing for Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea have been in search for a striker. The only fit striker Chelsea have got at the moment, and that is Olivier Giroud. I think actually Tammy Abraham's injured, or was injured, because he did sustain an injury in January. But yeah, £50 million is a very, very cheap solution, because in reality, Timo Werner is probably worth around £90 or £100 million. He did say a couple of days ago from Sky Sports that Man United, Chelsea and Liverpool have got around 12 days to trigger Timo Werner's release clause before it does expire. So looking likely, Werner is going to be going to Chelsea. But Werner did reveal that his preference was a move to Liverpool. Don't forget, he's already turned down a move to Bayern Munich. And don't forget, in February, Timo Werner did describe Liverpool as one of the best teams in the world. And he also described Jurgen Klopp as one of the best managers in the world and that. But Liverpool, were relentlessly linked with Timo Werner. And I definitely would have taken him at Manchester United if the opportunity was there. Timo Werner's only young, he's only the age of 24. His versatility is very, very good. He's a prolific goal scorer. His hold-up play is also very, very good. And this has been Timo Werner's 4th season with RB Leipzig. I think he's got a good 75 goals in 122 Bundesliga appearances. Yeah, this has been his 4th season with them. He's still got a contract with Leipzig till 2023. That's his current contract. Leipzig only paid around, was it £10 million for him from Stuttgart. So Leipzig are going to make a decent profit on the player. Maybe Timo Werner would have been available for cheaper next summer, rather than this summer. But like I mentioned, £53 million or 54 million, whatever it is a cheap solution. Don't forget, Timo Werner became the youngest player, to reach 200 Bundesliga appearances. But I did say anyway for Timo Werner to go to Liverpool. Liverpool would have to sell one of their attacking trio in Salah, Firmino or Mane. So Werner, could get game time week in, week out, So I said Liverpool, needs to do that. And, Liverpool have recruited quite a few players in from the Bundesliga in recent years. They got Firmino from the Bundesliga. They also got Takuma Minamino in January from Red Bull Salzburg. Liverpool paid just over £7 million for him. They also got Naby Keita from the Bundesliga, and they got Joe Matip from the Bundesliga and that. But you had David Einstein coming out the other week talking about Werner, and he said, Werner would only leave RB Leipzig to join Liverpool. And he did actually, say as well, Liverpool may not even make any signings in the summer transfer window. So Liverpool have missed out on Timo Werner now, and it is looking likely he is going to be going to Chelsea. But yeah, like I mentioned, very, very good signing for Chelsea. If Paul Pogba, was leaving the football club, then maybe there'd have been a chance we'd have got Werner. But yeah, in February, Solskjaer had a meeting with Werner in Berlin to discuss a move to Manchester United and that. But he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. So I just wanted to give you the news on that. Now, like I said, the news is on Paul Pogba. He's set to stay at Manchester United, which is very, very good news. And I think, Bruno Fernandes is key to Paul Pogba's future at Manchester United, because if Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes can build a fantastic midfield partnership, then I think actually, Paul Pogba will commit his long-term future with Manchester United, and, Paul Pogba will sign a long-term contract with Manchester United. Obviously, at the moment, Pogba's got, 1 year left on his contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. I do believe we'll actually, trigger Paul Pogba's contract for a further year and that. And he has obviously, been doing very, very well in training as Paul Pogba. As you all know now, Paul Pogba is back from injury, because don't forget, Paul Pogba was out with an ankle injury. Paul Pogba's only played 8 times this season for the football club. His appearances have been limited due to his injuries. His appearances have been limited. The last game he did play was our 4-1 win against Newcastle. And the last time Paul Pogba started from the start was back in September and that, But obviously, we've already confirmed anyway that Paul Pogba is not for sale, because we do value Paul Pogba at around 140 or is it 150 million pounds. Obviously, these two clubs that are interested in Paul Pogba. Don't forget, there were stories recently coming from League 10 Sport saying that, Paul Pogba's open to a move to PSG. Like I said, for PSG to get Paul Pogba, they'd have to offload they'd have to offload either Mbappe or Neymar, of course, who are the two most expensive players in the world. But I don't think he would go to PSG anyway. Obviously, Juventus is still in for Paul Pogba. Like I said, if Pogba did leave Manchester United, I think he would make a return back to Juventus, because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, did Paul Pogba. But the vast majority of his performances at Man United since he rejoined have been totally comparison to his ones in Turin. And don't forget, swap deals have been high on the agenda. They've been high on the agenda of swap deals, because obviously, recently, there's been talks of Rabiot coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going to Juventus. Also to Douglas Costa's being mentioned, Federico Bernardeschi, Miralem Pjanic, Aaron Ramsey. Also to Matthijs de Ligt was also mentioned as well. But swap deals are very, very rare in the modern game. Don't forget Paul Pogba's agent Mino Raiola the other week was back in talks with Juventus. I think also to Real Madrid recently held secret talks with Mino Raiola, but we believe Mino Raiola is the only one that wants Paul Pogba to depart the football club, because we've been very, very critical of Mino Raiola since the turn of the year, reflecting on some of the comments he has said, regarding Manchester United and all of that. Now, obviously, there were stories coming out the other week as well, saying that Real Madrid had offered up to 4 of their players for Paul Pogba. And that was Martin Odegaard, Lucas Vazquez, Brahim Diaz, and they offered, I think they offered someone else as well. Did Real Madrid? They offered us Martin Odegaard, Lucas Vazquez, Brahim Diaz, and James Rodriguez. Yeah, they're the 4 players that they did offer us. Obviously, last summer Paul Pogba revealed that I wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge and that. And he even didn't only say he wanted to leave, he publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the football club, did Paul Pogba. But we wanted £180 million for Paul Pogba last summer, and Real Madrid were not willing to meet that valuation. Now, like I said, Real Madrid spent nearly 300 million last summer. They did recruit around 6 players in. Obviously, they got Eden Hazard in, they got Luka Jovic in, they got Rodrigo in, they got Ferland Mendy in, they got Eden Militao in and that. So they're looking to do more business in the transfer market, and they have got a lot of players on their agenda. They're also looking to offload players in Real Madrid, like I've mentioned, in the summer transfer window. I think they're looking to get rid of Bale, looking to get rid of Jovic, James Rodriguez, looking to get rid of him. I think they're looking to get rid of Dani Ceballos on a permanent transfer. Karim Benzema, he's also coming to an end of his career in that. So there you go. Obviously, it says in recent weeks as well, Inter Milan have been interested in Pogba. Inter Milan, don't forget, have recruited 3 of our players so far. Don't forget, they got Ashley Young offers, they got Lukaku offers, and they got Sanchez offers. And don't forget, Barcelona have been in for him before. But definitely Paul Pogba is going to be staying at the football club at least for next season. So that's obviously very, very good news. Really, really is. And like I said, we missed out on the chance to re-sign Paul Pogba back in 2013, like I mentioned the other week. This was under David Moyes, but the main explanation why we didn't re-sign Paul Pogba is because at the time David Moyes was looking to get Cesc Fabregas in. In reality, you can say we made a mistake by getting rid of Paul Pogba when he was younger, because don't forget, we did have him under the Alex Ferguson era, but due to limited appearances, we let him go on a 3 transfer, Paul Pogba. And, Paul Pogba is one of the highest paid players at the football club. He's on like 300 grand a week on his current contract at the moment. So if he was to sign a new long-term contract, then probably Paul Pogba would become the highest paid player at the football club. So there you go. And like I said, as well, Paul Pogba endured a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. But a lot of top players, endured very, very difficult times under the Jose Mourinho era and that. So yeah, we know now that Paul Pogba's staying, so more or less, Paul Pogba's future at the football club has been resolved. So that's the breaking news on him. Now, let's give you the news on Kai Havertz from Bayer Leverkusen. These stories are stemming from the Independent, saying now that Bayern Munich are confident of signing Kai Havertz, and they're set to be us and Liverpool and that to the signing of him. I think also too Chelsea have been interested in Kai Havertz. Bayern Munich have actually been in for him for quite some time. Now, the Bayer Leverkusen sporting director did recently say that Kai Havertz's future has not yet been decided. You recently had the Bayer Leverkusen assistant coach saying that Kai Havertz could leave Bayer Leverkusen in the summer transfer window and that. And obviously, you had reports earlier on this week, and this was stemming from Sky Sports, saying that Manchester United are leading the race for Kai Havertz, and it says we was preparing to put a bid in of around £50 million. Maybe £50 million isn't going to be enough to convince Bayer Leverkusen to offload him. Maybe Leverkusen may want around 60, 70 or maybe £80 million. But it did say in the Independent that it's going to cost Bayern Munich around £80 million to get Kai Havertz. So if Kai Havertz goes to Bayern Munich, he will remain in Germany. Now, obviously, up until this point, Kai Havertz has spent the entirety of his career with Bayer Leverkusen. He was in their youth setup for a good, 6 or 7 years, something like that. I think he's been in Bayer Leverkusen's senior squad since like 2016, but since then has become an integral part of their team. Don't forget, Kai Havertz became the youngest debutant in the Bundesliga, the youngest player as well to reach a milestone of 50 and 100 Bundesliga appearances, and he has got a contract with Leverkusen until 2022. Kai Havertz can play as an attacking midfielder, and he can also play as a winger in that. So yeah, versatility, very, very good, and he's still only very, very young. So yeah, we could now miss out on Kai Havertz. So there you go. By the way, as well, I think, revert back to what I said earlier on, like I said, Chelsea is set to sign Werner, but I've been hearing stories as well that Chelsea have agreed to get Ben Chilwell as well from Leicester, and of course Ben Chilwell is a left back. Now, I also want to delve into something else. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has reportedly got around 4 contenders for the number 7 shirt. And because obviously, we have got number 7 vacant at the moment. And like I said, we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. We had the likes of Ronaldo, obviously the best player we've had in the Premier League era. Obviously, we had the likes of George Best, Eric Cantona, David Beckham and all that in that number 7. We had Michael Owen at one point in that number 7. Our recent number 7s, though, haven't been so good because, Memphis Depay was very, very inconsistent. Sanchez, obviously, was very, very inconsistent as well. Obviously, Rashford, could possibly play as a number 7. He's on that list, by the way. Obviously, Rashford started off, I think, as number 36. Then I think he changed, was it to 36, was it to 16 or something like that he changed to? And then obviously, he changed to number 10, did Marcus Rashford. So a few times, his numbers have been changed. But he is number 10 at the moment, he's Marcus Rashford. Like I said, the good news is now regarding Marcus Rashford, he is back from injury. And he has obviously, been training very, very well as Marcus Rashford. So that's obviously, very, very good news. Hannibal Merger. This is this youngster, I can't pronounce his second name, but... it's this young player that's obviously coming through, and it also says we can offer him the number 7. Mason Greenwood, he can also operate as possibly as the number 7 as well. Mason Greenwood, I think, has enjoyed a very, very good season for Manchester United. This has been Mason Greenwood's first full season in the senior squad, that is, and he scored like 12 or 13 goals in all competitions this season as Mason Greenwood. I've been very, very impressed with him, but you can say he is a backup at the moment. By the way, we're no longer interested in getting a striker because obviously, Odion Ighalo recently extended his loan. And plus, Solskjaer wants to see how the development goes with Mason Greenwood. And also, Bruno Fernandes being mentioned. He could be a possible contender for the number 7 shirt. Like I said, though, Bruno Fernandes predominantly plays in number 10. Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. I think we got him for around £60 million from Sporting Lisbon with add-ons included in that. I think he's got, is it like 3 goals, something like that so far, and 4 assists. He has done very, very well as Bruno Fernandes. Got to give him a lot of credit. Just wait there a second. Got to give him a lot of credit. So that is the latest news on that. But as you all know, anyway, the Premier League season is resuming on the 17th of June, which is very, very good news. And the 17th of June now isn't far away. Like I said, our game against Tottenham is on the 19th of June, and that is a Friday. And that's a game I'm really, really looking forward to. And like I said, before the football season got suspended, we was in a good vein of form because, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. So Solskjaer will be under pressure to keep this good run of form up. But Solskjaer is looking to beat Tottenham for the 3rd time as manager because he's already beaten them twice at the moment. And he's obviously, beaten Jose Mourinho once, so he's looking to beat Jose Mourinho twice, is Solskjaer. So there you go. I'm really, really looking forward to that game. We've got a fully fit squad. Also to Tottenham, they've got a fully fit squad as well because they've got the likes of Harry Kane back and, Heung-min Son. But like I mentioned on my video this morning, there's things that Manchester United have got to look forward to, when the season resumes. Obviously, the top 4, that's a priority for us because we do want qualification for the Champions League for next season. We are sitting 5th in the Premier League at the moment and we are just 3 points behind Chelsea. Also to the FA Cup and also to the Europa League is a priority for us because that's a chance for us getting some silverware on the board under Solskjaer. And if we could win both them or at least one of them, it would be a memorable first full season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. like I mentioned video yesterday, Solskjaer will welcome a selection of dilemmas, ahead of the Premier League restart and that. And like I said, there's decisions that, Solskjaer and Manchester United have got to make. We do know, obviously, David De Gea is going to remain our number one goalkeeper. Who's going to be our first choice left back? Is Luke Shaw going to remain our first choice left back? Or is, Brandon Williams going to become our first choice left back? I probably do believe our first choice midfield will be Pogba, Fernandes and McTominay. I think Fred will play instead of one of them so often. Matic will be like a backup water. Matic will still get his chances, but I think he'll drop to the bench. Will Matic a lot now. Agallo, he may not get many starts as he did, because he was getting starts because of the injury to Rashford, but now obviously Rashford's back. Agallo may not get as many starts, but it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, Lindelof and Maguire have built a fantastic partnership in our back line. But Lindelof now does face competition from Eric Bailly and Tuanzebe, because obviously they're back from injury. So yeah, he's got a selection of dilemmas. And like I said, there's decisions we've got to make. We've got to make a decision on Angel Gomez's future. We've got to make a decision on Diego Dalot's future. So the decisions that Manchester United have definitely, got to make. We know Bissaka's going to remain our first choice right back, obviously. So yeah, we will see. And like I said, I think, Solskjaer probably needs to work out his best 11, because he has been making a lot of rotation this season. But he's been making a lot of rotation, reflecting on the injuries we've had. I think also to probably needs to work out his best formation, but probably has an idea what his best formation is, to be fair. He has been changing formation persistently this season. He has been going with a 4-2-3-1. A lot he's gone with a 4-2-3-1. Few times gone with a 4-3-3. Obviously, he's gone with a 3-5-2 a couple of times as well. For my own perception, we look more expansive with 3 at the back. We're really, really doing that. So these things, we do need to work on and that. But like I've said to you, there's big decisions that Manchester United have got to make in the summer transfer window. And there's also, we've got to make a decision on the contracts as well, don't forget. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how Solskjaer approaches the summer transfer window, because Solskjaer revealed his transfer plans a while back, and he did say, he wants to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window, because he probably believes we need around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window to become title contenders next season. Because analysing it at the moment, you've got City that are strides ahead of us, and Liverpool the strides ahead of us and that. So yeah. And we have been inconsistent in the last 7 years or so. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So the last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season at the football club. But we do want to challenge for the title next season. And I think Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British talents to Manchester United like he did do last summer. And I think a lot of people do like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy in that. But yeah, but the summer transfer window will be Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager, because so far Solskjaer's enjoyed 3 transfer windows at the football club and that, and he's obviously recruited 5 players in, and the 5 players that he's brought in so far have done really, really well. And like I've said to there's things that Solskjaer changed at the club, and before the football season got suspended, he was talking about, what has changed at Manchester United since he replaced Jose Mourinho in December 2018. The things that have improved, I think, the top players have improved, and players in general have improved under Solskjaer. I think we've definitely improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer as well. Credit Solskjaer as well, because, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club. We have seen a total of 19 players depart the club since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in. And like I said, we are going to get rid of around 6-7 players in the summer. We'll get rid of minimum 5 in the summer transfer window. And I have got an idea of the players, that we are going to get rid of. I think, we're going to get rid of Phil Jones, because he can't even get in the team. Like reports were saying yesterday, Solskjaer's looking to wax 3 players off anyway, to help us generate money. And the three players that I'll mention were Smalling. We're looking to get rid of him on a permanent transfer. We're looking to get rid of Rojo on a permanent transfer. We're looking to get rid of Sanchez permanently in that. I think we'll also get rid of Jesse Lingard. I think we'll also get rid of Andres Pereira in that. Angel Gomez, it's looking likely, he's going to be going. Probably, James Garner will also be loaned out. So, yeah, we're going to get rid of players in the summer transfer window and that, we really, really are. As you all know, there were stories coming out last week saying that we'd taken a £140 million loan for the £150 million revolving credit facility. And that's obviously, to help us get through the coronavirus crisis. And obviously, to help us get the players that we want in the summer transfer window and that. Because obviously, our net debt is around 429 million, or is it just over 429 million? Because confirmed a couple of weeks ago that our debt had risen up by almost £130 million and that. And obviously, Ed Woodward did say the other month, that we may not do business as usual in the summer transfer market. So he basically ruled out big transfers to Man United, and he did say we won't be spending hundreds of millions of pounds and that. This is, what Ed Woodward had said. But there you go, Solskjaer knows he's got the backing of Ed Woodward, because Ed Woodward has said quite a few times this season he's willing to back Solskjaer. He's also assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. Like I said, we haven't only been critical of Solskjaer, though, for the vast majority of this season. We're being critical of Ed Woodward, and the main explanations why we've been critical of Woodward is, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been for the last 7 years or so. He's being criticised for us overpaying for players and just being criticised in general. But Woodward's now, this has been his 8th year at Man United, because he came in, was it in 2012, Ed Woodward? We've also been critical of the Glazers as well. The Glazers have been here 15 years, and the Glazers are also willing to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But like I said before, Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at the club. He does deserve at least a couple of more transfer windows, because he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team and that. Because don't forget, he's inheriting players from other managerial areas and that. The vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's. Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into Manchester United, and there's only a few that have left who Jose Mourinho, of course, brought in. So let's just put that into the equation. It is a transition period, and like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period and that. But if it doesn't work out next season, that's when I would get rid of him. Obviously, early on in the season, there was talks of Pochettino coming in and Massimiliano Allegri, and this is when Solskjaer was on the brink of getting the sack. Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Man United before Solskjaer got the job permanently in March of last year and that. Solskjaer got the job permanently, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But anyway, our number one priority targets. Well, our priority target, should I say, it's Jadon Sancho. That's our number one priority target. I think it's recently said regarding Sancho that he's been fined. He's been fined from a home haircut picture or something like that. Borussia Dortmund recently denied that Sancho had flown to England, because there were stories recently saying that he'd flown to England without permission. So basically, Jadon Sancho broke lockdown rules and that. And there's actually stories now coming out saying that Liverpool are still interested in Jadon Sancho. Like I said, Jack Grealish, he's another one of our priority targets. Also to Kalidou Koulibaly, he is. Daya Upamecano, he's in that. I think we're seeing Joe Rodon as well as an alternative to Kalidou Koulibaly. So, like I said, there's so many players on our agenda. But Solskjaer, is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. 3 managers have been sacked since the Ferguson era, and that was David Moyes. He endured 9 months at the club, was it, or 10 months, something like that. But we knew it was never going to work out under Moyes, and Ferguson was at the fault for ever recommending him in. The main explanation why Ferguson recommended him in is because they was both Scottish and that. And obviously, Louis van Gaal, he went after 2 years, but we did win the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal era. And Mourinho, he went after 2.5 years. even though he did win the Europa League and League Cup in his first season at Manchester United. But in the last 7 years, you know, we spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We recruited over 30 odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era and that. Obviously, you know, yesterday as well, I give you the news on Brandon Williams, didn't I? You know the news on him. Man United reportedly offered him a new contract. You know the news on Jude Bellingham. I give you the news about Bellingham a couple of days ago as well. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.